Welcome everyone. We are on day 24 of our 2025 course. It's the third day of our second session. We had 21 days in a row. And welcome back to those of you who've been on this journey with us so far. And if you're new, we heartily welcome you. And we'll be kind of reviewing things in the beginning so you can feel comfortable, and then we'll keep going deeper into the topics we covered in the first course. My name is Linda Taylor, and I'm coming to you from northern New Jersey, near New York City. And would like to say that if any of you would like to review the course materials, they're on our website. In the Zoom chat, you'll see some links to that. You can also go to local in-person programs if you just Google Sahaja Yoga classes in your area, and of course attend online for years actually. Some of the folks who've been coming since we started doing this 3 years ago are still coming and finding it valuable. Because really this course is about the experience and deepening our experience, and we do teach you about Sahaja Yoga along the way, but it's really also very much about going deeper into yourself. If you'd like a mentor, you can request one. We can arrange someone one-on-one to meet with you, to answer questions, meditate, just be there as a friend as you work through this and grow in Sahaja Yoga. So if you haven't gotten your foot soak bowl ready yet, please do that. And today we have an extra tool to help us to clear out our right side channel, which is the topic for today, and that is doing ice treatment. So you can use any one of these types of ice, and we're going to be putting that on our right side as we do the foot soak today. So last Thursday we did the central channel. Sunday we worked on the left side channel, and today we're working on the right side channel. We'll, as usual, on our 21-day programs, we'll have 2 presenters, we'll have a live musician, we'll have a video of Shri Mataji, and at the end, you can go into a breakout room if you like, or you can stay on with us while we talk about this topic among ourselves. Just want to remind you that Sahaja Yoga is always free, and how could you pay for it, actually? It's something so spiritually true that there's no price we could put on it. All right, so right now I'd like to invite our presenters on, and they can introduce themselves. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, how are you?
Good, welcome. Hi, Julia and Kirill. All right, so if you've been coming to the program, you've met all of them before, so I'm going to ask them, and you can even see where they are from their names. So what I'm going to ask everybody is to please tell me something about yourselves that people probably don't know about you yet. Wendy, you want to start?
The thing I love the most to do when I'm not working or doing meditation is write. I like to write short stories, and I also love to be out in nature. So whenever I get a chance, that's where I head to.
Okay. You also happen to have some nature in your house.
Oh, well, yes, we have birds. We have parrots that are very hard to control during the program, but otherwise they're lovely.
I enjoy them too. All right. Julia?
I would say my goal for this year is to get out in the garden more and to learn how to grow vegetables. So I've never done it, but that's the goal. And now that the weather is turning nice in Seattle, I keep looking to see, okay, what's the timing? When can I start planting? What is going to go well? And so hopefully this year it will be zucchini and carrots and maybe some tomatoes.
Sounds great. I hope the rain doesn't get your tomatoes.
Same.
Kirill?
Good evening, everyone. So I think um, nobody knows about me yet. Maybe, I don't know. I am originally from Russia, and right now I've been living the last 8 years in Dallas, Texas. And the part Russia I am from is Siberia. It's a very cold part of Russia, and moving here directly from Siberia to Dallas, Texas was a very interesting experience. So yeah, and today I would like to share with you a piece of Indian classical music, which is called rag, and this rag is called Bhairavi. And this rag has cooling and calming effect, which is very good for our right side, and which is in line with our today's topic. I hope you'll enjoy it.
Thank you so much. And we have put Kirill's website in the Zoom chat if you want to hear more of his music later. So, all right, with that, I will see you all later, and I'm going to kick us off here. All right. So, our topic today is getting things done without effort, which is a major quality of our right channel. So, what happens? Maybe we can actually take a quick look at the PowerPoint slide and see that we have 3 channels. And the central channel is, of course, in the middle. And that represents our spiritual growth, evolution, and balance. But when we're out of balance, we could go to the left, where we get too entangled in our emotions, brought down by that. And if we go into the right, then we get too much into our mental activity, planning, and other things. So that's where we're going to focus today. The right channel is the yellow one there. It's a little hard to see maybe on the chart, but it starts at the 2nd chakra, and it goes all the way up, and it then crosses over here on the agya, known as the 3rd eye also, crosses over and winds up as on the left side of our brain, which is the more analytical side. So that's our left channel we're going to be focusing on. So what's it about? Of course, thinking and planning, we're in our head, and we have this need to control situations, control others. When we're too much, I'm saying when we go too much on the right, when we're out of balance, it takes us into too much planning, and we all know that the best laid plans can go awry. So it's really a myth. We have to be prepared. I like to use that word. We don't want, but yet there's a fine line between, an important fine line between being prepared and alert versus over planning. And so that's something that we want to pull back from if we do too much of that. Often when we get into the right, our mind gets so involved in what we're trying to solve or do or think that we just get stuck in our mind, and it just keeps going over the same thing and trying to solve it here. But really, in Sahaja Yoga, the great blessing we have is that we can go beyond our mind up to this realm of our Sahasrara, where we connect to the divine, and we can know things through that connection. And that is what is really the magic of Sahaja Yoga, that we not only want to get out of our mind, but we can get out of our mind through this Kundalini awakening that takes us literally beyond our mind. So we need to balance that striving for excellence, again, a very good thing, but not to the extreme, and not when it compromises the feelings of others, when we don't take care of ourselves, when we don't know the limits of what's possible. So we want that excellence, but yet we have to be realistic, and we have to find ways to make it work out. And also really, basically it comes to trusting that this Kundalini energy that is now awakened in us will guide us and will actually do that work. It will give us the answers. It will help us in every way if we just let go of our mind and our ego and our need to control. So that's kind of the trick, is how do we let go and let the divine act for us? And still we're acting, we're active, we're hopefully dynamic and loving, actively loving, but we're also balanced, and we're also aware that we are not the doer. We are aware that the divine is actually guiding the path, our way. So we can release our mental hold on things. It just grabs our mind and let it go. We can pull back, kind of, it kind of gets smaller. That's what helps me. The right side is a 40-year inside yoga challenge for me, so it's ongoing. And don't be hard on yourself. It takes time to figure out how to really let go and let all this happen and flow. But if we kind of pull back and we just get out of the way and let the divine take over, because if our ego gets in the way, then the divine pulls back and says, "Okay, you do it." You may have heard Shri Mataji say this, but if we reduce our ego involvement, the divine will definitely come in and take over. So if we're in that state of connection, we can be guided, the stress goes away, we get into that effortlessness where we feel that we can do things, we can get things done, but without that effort, that mind being so involved. And so we can see outcomes that are not only unexpected, but actually often much better than what we could have imagined with our limited brain. So with that, and I guess one more piece that I wanted to mention is the love. And that to me is really the essence of Sahaja Yoga in every aspect, that when we are more tuned in to giving love, feeling love, any aspect of love relates to all the chakras actually, and especially to the right side, because when we get too right-sided, we tend to steamroll situations and we forget about people's feelings. So the love is extremely important to keep that at the forefront of our attention and really see how much we can change in being more loving while still doing and letting the divine do. So let's begin. We're going to do a foot soak, and we're also going to put some ice. So I'm going to scoot back so you can see me. And as you can see, I have a sort of monster ice pack here. The ones that we were showing earlier in the graphic, you can use something like this, like a ice, I don't know what you call it, but a hard plastic thing. There's soft plastic things. There's, you can use just a Ziploc full of ice cubes. Any of those things will do. And we're gonna, while we foot soak, we're gonna put it on our right nabi and right swadhisthana. And that's going to help to cool off the right side, because it's in cooling off that it clears out. All right, so let's give a bandhan like this. Give positive vibrations to our foot soak bowl. Make it more potent. Okay, we can put our feet in. Let's raise our Kundalini, keeping our left hand steady, and our right hand is our action side. Our right side is doing the action of raising the Kundalini, tying a knot. Second one, we bring our attention inside while we do this, following our hand up, tie a knot or two. Third time, attention inside. Tie 3 knots. Let's give ourselves a bandhan. We put our left hand out, stretched on our lap, and our right hand is going to go from hip to hip over the top of our head, back and forth 7 times. Follow your hand with your attention. So you have to go slowly enough to do that. Put out our hands, raise up a little bit and see how you're feeling. Take a deep breath. See what you're feeling on your hands. Is it heavy, hot, tingling, or is it, which means there's some blockages? Or is it cool and light? You can see which fingers, if any, might be tingling or heavy. Now we're going to first clear our first energy center by putting our hands towards the earth. Breathe, relax. Put our attention on this first chakra where we're sitting. And then we ask the Mother Earth, please help me let go of any thoughts, any stress. Feel the pull of the earth. All right, now let's bring our right hand on our lap, facing towards a photograph of Shri Mataji, which is giving cool vibrations, we hope. You can. That's the goal, is to feel those vibrations. That helps us to get into meditation and to clear. And we can put our left hand on our lower abdomen, the second chakra. Here we ask our Mother Kundalini, please let me let go of needing to control. I let go. We are nourishing this chakra with the vibrations from our left channel with our left hand. So go deep inside this chakra, inside our body, with our attention, and be receptive to this cooling, soothing energy from our left side coming into our right. I let go. I will be happy for the divine to take over, to make everything work better than I can. And let's bring our hand onto the right nabi, the third chakra. You can, it's a little tricky because you've got the ice pack there, but you can put your hand under it or over it or as you like. Again, feel the soothing coming from the ice, cooling down our overactive liver that's thinking, planning all the time. Just let yourself be soothed. Bring the energy of the Himalayas into my right navi. Bring the moon energy into my right navi. Mother Kundalini, please steady my attention. All right, let's see what we're feeling on our hands. Hopefully you're feeling a little cooler, quieter inside too. Okay, now we're going to rinse off our feet. And just put our foot soak bowl aside. Julie is going to take us through the other chakras on the right side. And now we are going to watch a video of Shri Mataji giving a talk on this topic.
And the greatest truth is that we all have become human beings to become the spirit. We are still not in that stage. That's why there are problems around us. Once you become the truth, it being the absolute, you reach the state of absoluteness. Then there is no difference of ideologies, no differences of nation. All nations, one knows, are created by God Almighty. Just He created variety to give a beautiful world to us. Variety always gives beauty. That's why this variety was created, just to make the world very interesting, but not for fighting or for quarreling or for believing that this part belongs to us and that part belongs to somebody else. The human problem, as I have studied, is very simple. Is to be understood in a detached way. Now here you can see the beautiful machinery that is working within ourselves. If you see on the left hand side, we have, somebody should come and show, blue colored line. And the right hand side, you see a yellow line. In the center, you see a white channel. These are our autonomous nervous systems, 3 channels, left and right sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. When I talk of medical science, people get quite surprised. But it has something to do to understand what are we inside ourselves. Now this parasympathetic nervous system is the system that gives us balance. For example, if I am running fast, my heart will start thumping. But it comes to normal through parasympathetic nervous system. And medical science doesn't know much about the parasympathetic nervous system, which is actually in the center. These chakras are around the parasympathetic nervous system, and like my fingers here, this is the chakra in the center here, and this is the left sympathetic and this is the right sympathetic, and they both put together make this center to form the parasympathetic. Simple as that. Now what happens with human beings? That they have a capacity, they have a freedom also to go to the left or to the right. They can be very emotional people, They can go to the emotional side to such an extent that they can become fanatics. They can go further with it, so that the left side, which represents our subconscious, then the collective subconscious can be entered into. So they can enter into collective subconscious also. Subconscious also has 3-4 layers. That is, we can say the present subconscious, the past subconscious, and subconscious of ages. Then the collective subconscious, where all that is dead exists in that area. Now, when you move too much on that side, you get attacked by that side. And that side has got all that is dead, which attacks you, which triggers. On the right hand side, we have got another channel of the right sympathetic nervous system. This channel represents our activity and our future. So when you are overactive, you're working very hard, you are futuristic, all the time thinking about the future, you start moving towards the right side, to such an extent that you can enter into your collective supraconscious also. In the same way, you have got your present supraconscious and also collective supraconscious. Now, human beings have a capacity that they can move to the left and to the right with their attention. They can project their attention to the left or to the right, or they can be moderate in the center. So when people talked of religion, I mean the real people who came on this earth, they talked of religion. They talked about our valency, that's a human valency, is of 10 number. And that's why they talked of 10 commandments. Or in every religion they talked about it, that we have to keep this balance. When we go out of this balance, then we either move to the left or to the right. But if you see the history of religions, it is just the opposite. That all these religions have created conditionings within us. A kind of a fanaticism, a kind of a blind faith, which was never the purpose of establishing your valencies within yourself. The movement to the right is also another problem of the modern times. When we move to the right, we actually start becoming very egoistical. The activity that we form, the activity that we perform creates a balloon-like structure on our head, as you see, crossing over here as ego, that yellow stuff. On the left-hand side, when we are conditioned very much, we get another balloon which we call as superego. Jung also missed the point because he described that there are layers horizontally placed within ourselves. It is not so. God is a great constructor and a manager. For example, you have put a road for me here. I don't have to pass through different rows. In the same way, he placed everything in a vertical way, and the road to realization is kept free within us.
Let's stay in a meditative state in silence for 1 more minute.
Thank you, Kirill, for such beautiful music to help support our meditation. Let's continue to meditate for a few moments silently, allowing our attention to be light and free. And clearing our right channel, our right side, it's important to take a moment and just see, how am I feeling? Do I feel calmer from when we started? Do I feel more at peace? Do I feel more free? And like Linda mentioned, we can check on our hands. What am I feeling in this moment? We're just watching. So to take away any remaining pressure, to take away any remaining stress, let's bring our left hand and place it on the right side of our heart. And let's take a few slow, deep breaths at our own pace. Quieting the thoughts and letting go of any burdens we might be holding on to. In our meditation, let's desire to feel joyful in our heart and to let go of any over responsibility that we may be feeling. If something's bothering us, if we feel stress because we feel like we should be doing something, if we're not doing something we know we need to do, all of these things can impact our right heart. So let's let it go. And let's ask this energy inside to please nourish and support our right heart so that we can know what is beneficial for ourselves. What are our true responsibilities? What action shall I take that supports a joyful heart, a loving heart? We can say silently inside, I want to feel the joy of my spirit. I let go of all pressures, keeping me from feeling the joy of my spirit. Again, let's take a few slow, deep breaths, allowing our attention to rise up to the top of our head. Great. Let's shake off our hand, bring it back onto our lap. And again, let's take a moment to see, where is my attention? Do I feel the silence of my meditation? Now let's take our left hand and we'll clear out the Vishuddhi chakra on the right hand side, which is the energy center at the throat. And by placing our left hand on the right side of the neck, where it meets the shoulder, we can massage it a little bit, just to take away the burdens and the stress that we carry in this energy center. Let's relax our neck, relax our throat, and let's nourish it together. When our right side is overactive and it gets heated up, it's easy for us to become cranky, angry, frustrated. And this energy center at the Vishuddhi, the fifth energy center, it becomes out of balance when we allow our frustration, our discomfort, our anger, when we express it to others and to ourselves. So here, let's get rid of any frustrations that we might be feeling. We let go of all anger and all harshness, whether we speak it to others or whether we feel it to ourselves. Let's take a moment to just let it go. And we'll ask this energy of our spirit to please nourish and soothe this Vishuddhi chakra, to sweeten our speech so that we can be balanced, so that we can speak sweetly. So that we can be dignified personalities. We can take our hand back down to our lap, shake it off. And now let's bring our right hand across our forehead at the sixth energy center, the Agya chakra. We can bend our head slightly, just so there's no pressure on the neck. Here, let's let go all overactivity from our mind. All excess planning, all analysis, all pressure, mental pressure, keeping us from the silence of our meditation. We let it go. We can even take both hands and press it on either side of the head, removing all strain from our ego, from our superego, taking us out of balance. Let's shake off our hands and again place our right hand across our forehead. And by forgiving these thoughts, let's see if we can prolong the space between our thoughts. That silence of our meditation. I forgive my thoughts. I let go of all plans. And in this moment, let's ask this Kundalini energy to enlighten our Agya chakra and to soothe it and nourish it. Let's bring our hand back onto our lap. Again, taking a slow, deep breath, letting go of any remaining tension inside. And let's allow this energy to support our attention so that it rests above the top of our head. If there's any distractions, let's massage the top of our head, the Sahaja chakra. Again, asking inside to this nourishing energy to support our attention and bring us deeper into the state of thoughtless awareness. Let's raise our hand a few inches above the top of the head. Just seeing what we feel. If we feel a coolness flowing or this energy permeating above us. We can check with our other hand. And let's sit for a few more moments with both hands open on the lap. And allow ourselves to go a little bit deeper into the silence of our meditation. To conclude, let's raise our Kundalini together and let's give ourselves a bandhan. Linda, I'll pass it over to you for some announcements.
Thank you so much. Very peaceful meditation. Thank you, Kirill, for the beautiful music. Hope everyone's feeling different from when you came today. Now we're going to have our presenter sharing session. Also, and even now you can ask for a breakout room. But first, a few announcements. And here's our schedule. We're going to go until April 15th, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, with our 3-day-a-week format. And in between, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you can attend a foot soak, same time, same Zoom. And if you miss anything, the programs are all on our YouTube channel. So, as we mentioned before, you can request a mentor, a one-on-one friend, really, who can guide you and help you in any way that you need in learning about Sahaja Yoga and growing deeper. So please fill out that form. We're still doing that. And if you're not already in our WhatsApp group, that's where we give announcements about the programs and messages just to give you a little inspiration every day. Also, all the handouts and everything else are on our website, and the QR code will take you there. On Thursday, we're going to be revisiting the topic of the Kundalini, that mothering energy that is our pure desire that takes us to this state of thoughtless awareness. So please come and learn more about the Kundalini and experience more of it within yourself. Now, again, if you'd like to go in a breakout room, there's someone named Breakout Room Help here who you can just send a Zoom chat message to them. Otherwise, we have someone answering written questions if you prefer. And or you can ask me a question and we can see if we can answer it live. So now I'd like to welcome back Wendy and Julia to take part in this conversation.
Good to be back.
All right, here we are. Okay, so let's see, on the topic of the right channel, let's talk a little bit about being dynamic, which is sort of the right side at its best. How, as in your time practicing Sahaja Yoga, have you been able to be dynamic without effort? Can you give an example of that? Wendy?
I guess I can just give an example of how I go about every day. That makes sense. Because it's an ongoing thing. For me, I'm a person like, the thing that my Achilles heel is I can't stand to see anybody else suffering. And it turns out there's quite a lot of suffering going on always. And so there's a pull on my right side to try to fix things. So what I try to do to be dynamic is when I'm into a situation, and I get into them a lot with my mother, when I'm into a situation where she's suffering, I take what I call positive action. So I use my right side, but I try to do it from the center. And I try to do everything I possibly can that's within my capacity, because we only have so much control. So the things I know I can control, I try to do that, and I try to help. And then when I've done everything I can do, then I try to surrender it. I try to, just surrender it to a higher power. And what I've found actually is that when I am able to surrender some of the biggest problems that, for example, my mother has, like she was in a situation where they weren't allowing her to move or be mobile, and I thought it was going to really shorten her life. And I did everything I could, and it wasn't working out, so I surrendered it. And within a day, it was handled. So I think we can't just sit in our problems, and we need to take action, and as best as we can, we control that action from the center. So you can still think and still act from the center. So you're not being a crazy person, right? Trying to fix everything. But, and then find it in and that's the hardest part, to find it in yourself, to just let it go. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you. Wow. Julia?
I think for me, so maybe I'm a little bit less than Wendy. She has the action. I'm more on the left side where I have maybe less energy sometimes. So for me, it's how do I do the work that needs to be done in a way that isn't draining, that isn't exhausting? And how do I not overdo something because I think I should be doing it? And how do I keep myself balanced, like you're saying, in the center? And what I've noticed is there's this mental blockage that thinks I have to do everything, I have to do it now, I have to do it perfectly. And all of that is overactivity on the right side, that pressure. And so when I'm in a better state, a state of peace, of silence, then I can start to see, okay, what is reality? What is a pressure? What is real? What needs to be done now? And we talked about dynamism a little bit as a quality of the right side. And for enlightened dynamism, what does that mean? So for me, it really has something to do, at least the way I understand it, is what is the action that I need to do today that is coming from my heart, from myself, from my spirit, not from my brain, not from my worries, but what is something that would actually be pleasing to myself? What would give me energy, and what would I find to be joyful? And when I focus on those steps, then things tend to work out more smoothly. I don't run into so many problems, and it is sustaining. It doesn't take away my energy. So sometimes it does if I overdo it, and then I have to remember, okay, I have to ask for help too. So those are some of my thoughts on your question.
Okay. Yeah, for me, I get kind of buried in my thoughts and in my plans, and sometimes I realize that I'm just entangled, and so I just have to do as much as, almost like as Wendy was saying too, do as much as I can in terms of planning something out, and then really just, and in that surrendering, I sometimes just sit and just let my attention go to the top of my head, really get to that silent state. Sometimes it's not possible, but sometimes it is. And whenever it is, then whatever is stuck, that it's not getting solved, after I've gotten into that state, and then the answer comes. So that's, really what I've seen that is so amazing in Sahaja Yoga, is that we have that capacity to get to that place and to really, it's just relax the mind, finally, let it, take a break. And then in the meantime, the Kundalini shoots up and tells you what to do. So it's like a very efficient situation we have here built in.
And oftentimes, it's not what we would have thought of.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, the solution that works out dynamically is some other thing that just comes to us in a moment of peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you put your attention up, like you said, then it just pops into your head. Okay, let's try that.
Exactly. Yeah. And also if I'm just trying to solve problems on my own, and then I let go and I go talk to somebody, and they go, oh, that's, they
Why
can.
didn't I see that?
Yeah. So reaching out for help is actually a very good strategy for right side as well, because you're not, not in it alone. And that can be, put a lot of pressure on us when we don't reach out for help. And being collective in our everything we do, I just find it so much more interesting and more productive, actually, totally, and enjoyable. So.
It's hard to be the doer when you're working in a team. It's harder to try to take over and fix everything. And then other people have so much wisdom and they have their own perspective and they might understand that whatever you're trying to solve better.
Yeah.
And so it's good to humble your right side down a little and go, okay, maybe someone else has the answer.
Yeah, and it really helps us to appreciate everyone else for what they can contribute, and that we all, that synergy of our different perspectives. It's so beautiful. So yeah. I mean, another aspect of this, I guess, is kind of spontaneity also. And I think that one of the downsides of the right side is that you get, you've got your to-do list, do, that's very constraining. And so on days when I just say, okay, I'm just going to be free now for a moment, for a while, and I'm not going to look, I kind of know what I have to do, but I kind of want to, if I just let it be open and see what comes to me, what's the next thing I should do, and let that, kind of freedom of the time and the space. It's very joyful, really, because it's much more. Anyway, you just get so chained down by this, all the responsibility or dutiful.
Sometimes timing is a thing, right? Where if you have it so set in your plans, you miss the beauty of how things can flow. And if you're a little bit more fluid and what comes into your awareness, you do that, it allows something else to happen, so that what you thought you had to do earlier actually just takes care of itself.
The real killer about it all is that it's actually more efficient when you are relaxed and allow things to spontaneously happen. You usually work things out much faster. And I don't know if you've ever noticed, when you make a to-do list, I can only ever get through a third of it. So we have no idea how much we can really pull off. And so then there's this pressure. Oh, I'm not getting it done, And it's just because we weren't setting realistic goals, and we can be very hard on ourselves when we set unrealistic goals and beat ourselves up and we react. And that's what we want to avoid, is all this kind of reacting and blaming ourselves and
blaming others.
Especially blaming others.
One trick I do is now I make a shorter to-do list, and I feel happy if I can do it. But also, I don't know what you all have felt, but I think that when we have our self-realization, basically we have this ability to be connected. And we can be reminded of things at the moment when we need to know them. It happens. Like we don't. So we're not as like, okay, wait, let me check my calendar. Let me check my calendar. But all of a sudden, you're told, you get the message what the next thing to do is, or what you have to do.
It's kind of like a pure intelligence that comes actually from your subtle system. And you can't really take credit for how smart your Kundalini makes you appear to others, like a magic worker, because they don't have their realization, so they don't have all that at their disposal. It's an amazing tool for all these things are amazing life tools.
Yes.
Yeah, and when you feel it, you start to learn to recognize it. You think, is that my intuition? Where is that coming from? And when you notice that it's coming from this energy, from your spirit, you can see that it sort of is like deep in your heart or in that higher state. And when you start to trust that, to be like, okay, yes, that I should listen to myself. I should do that now. Now is the time. You'll see that it tends to work out fluidly. Whereas our mental plans or our conditionings, it's like hitting your head against a wall sometimes to try to get things done.
Yeah, and we feel kind of, if we just start, it just makes us dry. It just being tied to the to-do list, it sort of dries out our personality and doesn't give joy. So, yeah. So, another question here. Let me just see if we have any other questions from anybody out there. No. All right. Is how can you tell if you're being too right-sided? And what do you do or not do about it? Julia?
I had this happen this weekend.
Okay.
I had a very long to-do list, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And again, like sometimes when the list is so long and you try and you're putting all of this effort, it makes you really tired or dry or just like not wanting to be around anybody. So losing your joy. And I was putting this big pressure to get everything done. And we had a bunch of different things, whether it was gatherings or hosting dinners or cleaning the house to get the dinner, like you name it, there was a very, very, very long list. And by the end of the night on Sunday, after 3 days of going nonstop, right, and then the whole week has to start all over again with no break, I got really frustrated that I was thinking, why am I doing all this work? Why is nobody helping me? And I was getting irritated and I was cranky and I wasn't speaking sweetly. All of those things were indicators that my right side was way out of balance. And I noticed that, especially when I get irritated or I get frustrated or I get cranky, that's really the word. That's like flashing lights. Your right side is out of control. You need to bring it back. And I wasn't speaking sweetly to my husband. And then it became a spiral. And then we realized, okay, let's take a step back. I had to foot soak and meditated and just brought myself back into balance. And then I realized, okay, whoa, I shouldn't have said any of that day. I just needed to get, myself okay. And then you can speak in a way that is truth and work towards your problems, but not when you're so out of whack in the right side. So it's not always easy to see it in the moment, but there are definitely indicators where you're like, okay, I'm reacting. I am not happy. I am upset. I'm frustrated. And all of that just means, okay, I need to cool down my liver. I need to come back into balance and then see what is reality. And if there is a problem, then how can I fix it in a way that's pleasing to myself and pleasing to others?
Nice, great example. Wendy?
Well, when I'm centered, I always go to my heart first for solutions, like what feels right to my heart, because I find that my mind can be very tricky and I can always trust my heart. I've made million decisions mentally that didn't turn out great. But I've never been let down by my heart. So when I find that I've stopped listening to my heart and I am trying to solve a big problem all on my own, that's when I realize, oh my gosh, I've gotten into the right side and I'm taking a mental approach to this. And the trouble with it is other people can feel your heart in a situation. So if you approach a problem with some heart, I think people are much more likely to either stop being a problem, help you solve it. They relate to you, and you can form a team even with someone who has been being kind of the problem, oddly enough. So for me, when I'm madly trying to do something that is outside, usually I know what I have control over, which isn't a lot. I have control over my subtle system and what I'm doing with that, what I'm saying, where I go and things I do. But there's a lot not in my control. And when I forget that I can't control that thing and I'm trying to do it, that's when I go, oh my gosh, I'm in my right side. I'm trying to use my ego to solve something, and the ego is not very efficient. The right side is not self-reflexive, so it can't see itself. So you can make the biggest fool out of yourself with your ego, And so that's when I realize I'm being a little foolish in my ego. That's when I have to cut out all caffeine. That's my big solution. Usually the thing that drives me a bit is just too many cups of tea and coffee, and I need to cool down my liver and cool down the whole process of thinking I can do things that are beyond my control.
Well, I wish I could just comb down my right side with that, because it's not that easy for me. But I find that I just do too much. I tend to try to I just am, working too much, and then I realize it's just not balanced, and I'm not. So it's a work in progress. And for me, what I have to say is, okay, I'm going to let that go. It's not going to be perfect. I'm just going to, I can do this much, but not that much, or just leave it for tomorrow, or just, a lot of ways to just get to some kind of balance and not overdoing it, I'm a big one for jumping in and being the hero.
You're my hero, actually. You do a good job of it.
Well, I enjoy it very much, but I think I do it a bit too often, so I have to just pull back a bit. And so yeah, I think we all can introspect. I would invite everyone who's listening to just say, what is it that makes me irritable and cranky, and then how do I stop being like that? How do I prevent it?
And to recognize the sort of, I call them symptoms, but the behaviors of the right side, where we get into galloping thinking, where we're really, really thinking, and our thinking is out of control, and we're over-processing things. So we end up getting into the extreme right side, which is anxiety, because we are trying too hard to solve something that may not even be within our thought. It was definitely, most of the time, we can't think our way out of it. So if we recognize that, if we see that our thoughts are getting away from us, and we see that we've got a to-do list that's making us anxious. What I do is I go through the to-do list, and then I go, okay, I got too much to do. I'm going to cut that. I'm going to cut that. I'm going to cut, and then I can feel my right side calm down because some kind of sense of reality has entered the equation that, no, I'm not Superwoman. I can only do so much, and I'm going to do the things that are most important, and that usually are things that follow the vibrations, like things that give vibrations, like programs or whatever it is. And if there's something that I can cut out that's not got good vibrations, woo, that goes right off my list.
It's something about value, right? Your time is worth a lot. So, of all of these items that are on our lists each day, and then someone adds a million other things, so it just keeps piling. What is going to bring you joy? What is something that is your true responsibility, not because somebody else is putting that pressure on you, but really like taking a good look at it from that state where your attention is high, or that you're not rushing around and you're just giving yourself a moment and prioritizing, okay, what is going to be the most pleasing for me to do today? And that usually helps take away all of the extra stuff that we feel pressure to do that isn't actually reality in the moment.
Yeah, yeah. Beautiful. All right. Well, this has been a lovely conversation. Appreciate it very much. Anything else? Parting words?
Your coffee and tea is my chocolate, so I have to cut that out to help keep a cool right side.
Okay.
I'm thoughtless,
Okay, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thanks so much. And see everyone on Thursday when we're going to talk about the Kundalini.
so long.
Good night.